The show where there are no penalties, nothing is offside, and everything is fair game. This is The Gloves Are Off.
Welcome to the show, The Gloves Are Off. I'm your host, Jack Haskins. With us, as always, head coach of the Bobcats, Brian Curran, and general manager.
It's good to see you, and it's kind of like deja vu.
It is.
I don't know what it is, but it feels like we've done this show before. Oh, well, okay, sorry, that was last week.
We
but
might
anyway,
have, yeah.
God, that was good. I was sarcastic as hell right there.
And with us on the show today, we're very happy to have head coach of the Bandits, Jason Newman.
Hello, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
You almost forgot his name, didn't you?
No, I
went
was
for the
gonna,
old. You're Jason Newman.
Yeah.
No.
You got it.
I was going to say Lloydminster Bobcats, but then it's your team, so then I went Bandits. Anyhow, thank you very much for coming on the show today. How's the team going so far?
Well, we're 7-2, so we've had a good start to the season, and nice to be in second. And now we need to start working towards the second half and peaking at the right time and building that chemistry, and probably still looking to pick up a couple more players to add to the depth.
Now, Brian, you've been a head coach for years, and this is your first year as being a head coach. What kind of pressures come when it all falls on you this year as opposed to maybe last year where it wasn't quite as much responsibility?
Well, yeah, there's definitely noticed a difference in responsibility. An assistant coach, you're just working with the players more, patting them on the back, showing them little things, kind of their liaison. And as a head coach, you're the guy in charge. You're the guy that they got to draw. You draw the line. They got to follow it, and you got to sit them on the stands or on the bench, and you're the bad guy, right? So
you see that, hey?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There, I got it in. Nobody got it in. Well, you know what it is, because over all the years, and I've had some great assistant coaches, and they are the liaison. They are the confidant of for the coach and for the players, and there has to be a very special relationship between them, and it has to be a special relationship with your coach, understanding, like in my world, that I don't need to hear every bad thing. I need you to be close with them, yet if anything bad has happened, I need to know, but you need to be the judge of it. But at the end of the day, you're the coach, and when you take over that role, the responsibilities are the one that's, I've always been a coach of control. I mean, I want to control my own destiny. If I screw up, I'm very accountable for it, and I'll take the blame. And I want to make sure that I'm, control that part. So, if I ever did move on out of the game or I was released from the game, I always want to know I did it my way and I did it the best way I knew how to. And that's what you're going to say is, or that's part, I think, of what you'll do, is that you're going to find out sometimes I got to sit him because he should be. Mm-hmm. But he's our leading scorer, but he's really acting like a prima donna, and I should send a message, but God, we need to win this game. And nobody understands the pressure of what a coach and his decision. And if anyone says to me, yeah, well, they paid the big bucks, yeah, okay. My National Hockey League, maybe I can take
His
that
bucks
one.
are a little bigger than mine, too.
Let's move on to our next topic, gridlock. Now, you guys can both relate because it seems that, right now in the AJ, the North is so tight. And what are some of the pressures that you face as a coach when every game seems to have added significance because a win can shoot you up, a loss can bury you?
Well, I think that, now that I've had a lot more time to think about this one, I would say, especially, I tell our players, and most coaches know, at the beginning of the season, there's the excitement. And then there's, after X amount of games, there's a little bit of a lull. I tell my players that consistency is the one thing we want to find. Secondly, it's a lot easier to win games in the first half of the season than it is in the second half of the season. Second half of the season, you're fighting for position, you're fighting for first or second, you're fighting to get in for home ice advantage, maybe you're fighting to get into the playoffs, and they get more and more difficult. But in the North this year, it is the parity is amazing, and everybody is fighting. Like I had told you earlier, we were unbeaten in 10 games, and we got up to second. We lost one game, the next one, we're down in fifth. So it tells you what it's like.
Yeah, it's a battle, and the other teams are fighting too. You might be in second and play the seventh place team, but that seventh place team's trying to get to sixth. Right. and they're coming with it, and they're trying a new power play on you, or they got a new goaltender in, or they're trying to win too. And so it's right, and he's so right. Consistency, focus. You're coming in there, you're prepared, and it doesn't matter if you're playing the first place team or that 7th place team because everybody's fighting for something. And
it does get more difficult as the season goes along, right? Like, because later in the year you have your spoiler teams who, just have nothing to play for, but can string together a few good games against you, right?
Well, and I think in our league we don't have that. Really, 8 of the 9 teams make the playoffs. So we don't really have them teams that are out of it with 10 games to go, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody's battling. And the other thing I find, too, is you get halfway through the season and then the injuries start to creep up, right? And one or two guys out of the lineup can make a big difference in the chemistry and the confidence of your players or vice versa in the other team.
Oh, there's no question with that.
Yeah. Now, I know you guys don't want to talk about this next segment, but I'm going to do it anyway because everyone's talking about it. Sidney Crosby could be coming back this Friday. Now, do you guys think that is just another rumor? Or do you think that he might just come back? Or do you even care?
Oh, go ahead.
It's going to be he'll come back when he's ready. I mean, whether it's this Friday, the next Friday, the Friday after, next year, when he's ready, he'll come back. I think the important thing is that he comes back when he's ready, and not that he comes back 3 games into it, boom, he's gone again for another 10 months like a Patty LaFontaine back in the day or something, right?
I just want to know, kind of, when you little press puppies, when you're going to report when Crosby's walking on water. Because, I mean, this is, I get it. I'm just busting on you. You know what? You have to report the news. He's the best player in the National Hockey League, in my opinion, all around. Is he going to come back? I said, in my opinion, this is not a question of when is he mentally prepared in his own mind to come back and play. Because if he's practicing every day and there's no symptoms anymore and he's having physical contact, this tells me the question I would want to know, is he just not comfortable at this point to step back? And if he's not, he better stay off the ice. And you know what? That maybe he's just having fun with the press. They're being around Pittsburgh, making Pittsburgh look like just the greatest place in the world to play and to be. I don't know. But, he can't come back. Not a player like that. Boy, you'd hate to see him get injured again.
And is it tough? Like, do you think that it's tough for the players there? They're doing so well. First place in the East without Crosby, and the press comes in, and they just swarm Sid in practice. And they're not asking about, like, hey, you guys are doing great.
It can have a very adverse effect depending on, this is their leadership there that's going to come in to be tested. As soon as Crosby comes back, certain players' ice times are going to go down. Mm-hmm. Is they're going to be complaining, we were doing so well without him. On the same token, every player on that team wants Crosby to come back because he's going to make him that much better. But with that coming back as a shift of the ice time, as I said, maybe the way a player's perspective, maybe his confidence drops down because he's not where he was before, and that leadership has to grab them and say, hey, we're this good.
Remember, it's Sidney Crosby, though, not Sean Avery.
Yeah.
Right? Well, so, I mean, the media coverage is, you're still talking about their captain, the guy who's led them to a cup, right? The league's leading scorer in the past. I mean, this is a big guy, right? I think it's different if the media is swarming because you've got some guy that plays 3 minutes a game for you and who's, that stuff I think
that's
can
about
take
his
away.
ex-girlfriends.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens when that team gets back to full strength. Anyway, that's all the time we have for our first segment of Dump and Change. We'll be back after the break. More Gloves Are Off.